In Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, lies a racetrack called Road America, and at Road America will be hosting round 2 of the 2022-2023 Hololive GT3 International Series. And today we'll be here racing 19 cars, all of them themed after Hololive members in the English and Indonesia department. Anyways, we'll be seeing a lot of these cars barreling down the racetrack. A lot of race cars ready to make their mark here in the Midwest. And speaking of the track map here, we're racing at Road America. Track length of a staggering 6.5 kilometers in length, which is basically 4 miles. 14 corners, 14 grueling corners here on the racetrack. And we also want to talk about the 31 lap race distance. So we're still racing at around 200 kilometers. And speaking of which, we're looking at target lap time of 2:08.050. Due to some efforts to slightly slow the cars down to update the tires to bring the gap down for each of the cars. And speaking of which, we're talking about a track here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, in the United States. Second longest track of Holo GT3 so far, which the longest track will be Spa-Francorchamps. We'll be racing later on in the year in November. And it's actually a power-hungry circuit with fast corners. Parity levels will be high as we're looking at the Nissan and Hondas basically making use of the long straights, and the Lexus and Hondas basically making use of the fast corners. And speaking of the entry list, we want to be taking a look into the entry list here that we have covered so far. Basically, 90 car will be entering this race, and this will include our most recent race winner in Hololive GT3, Carolina Vieira da Silva, in the number 96 Oro Kronii Lexus. Let's see if she is able to defend her spot on top. Also, we want to talk about some guys who have failed to score points. Mercer Ledo in the Nashimume Honda, and also Jason Fisher in the Crazy Ollie Nissan. And also we want to talk about Aziz Mozif, as well as I don't know about the other guy, but whatever the case is, we got 4 drivers who have yet to score points. Let's see if they can turn their fates around this round. And speaking of the championship standings here, we'll be taking a look into the point standings. Here is the standings as of the end of round 1 here in Mosport. Carolina Vieira da Silva, of course, won the season opener in Mosport. She leads the standings. Emerson Kurt is in 2nd. And you see Cashew 3rd, McConley 4th, Kayshawn 5th, Shalaki 6th, Mortis 7th, and we have Mazzy 8th, Booklers in 9th, Garcia in 10th, Aston 11th, Evan Fuller 12th, Trombley 13th, Thunderar 14th, and Santa Olivares is in 15th. And also we do want to mention Raymond Pavo as well. He has also not scored a point. He has finished 18th in the previous race in Mosport. Let's see if he is able to bounce back from the previous round. And also we have Aziz Mwazif and also want to talk about Aziz Mwazif, who is basically also pointless after being the only DNFer of the previous round in Mosport. And also we want to talk about the English Cup standings. Santi Olivares in 9th, Marcelo the only one pointless so far. Rob is in 8th, and basically it's basically the 4-point standing, except we subtract the Hololive Indonesia entrance. And speaking of Hololive English Cup, this round will also count towards the English Cup, as well as one of the tracks, one of 7 tracks that will count towards Hololive English Cup, basically. And with that out of the way, we're going to be transitioning over into qualifying. Hi and welcome. Good afternoon or good morning or good evening to everyone who's watching the stream. I hope you're enjoying the stream so far. We're about to get this 15-minute qualifying session underway. I am Muhammad Shadid Reza, and alongside me in the commentary booth is none other than the reliable Zeke Wimberly. So Zeke, since we'll be racing in the Midwest, I want to hear your thoughts about this race.
Really hoping Mercer Ledo will score some points. You know, only one on English who hasn't scored one, so I'm really hoping he wins. It's a new race, all the cars are repaired, and I think it's going to be a great race, especially where it's a very all-rounder track with a whole bunch of long straights and a lot of corners. So it's a very all-rounder.
And speaking of Mercer Ledo, he is one of only 4 drivers who have failed to score a point so far in the season. alongside Raymond Pavo, alongside Jason Fisher, and the driver who had finished 16th the previous round, Marcelo Doe, as well as, if I am not mistaken, I need to get my memories checked because. Oh wait, actually we'll talk about that later. So here we are in the Midwest in Road America. So it's a very interesting track to be in. We did mention that it's a 14 corner circuit, 6.5 kilometers long, 4 miles in length. We got corners like turn 1 and turn 9 and 10, and then we have turns 12 and 14, which are middle speed corners, and then we have turns 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, which are low speed corners, and then we have super high speed corners like the non-existent turns 2 and 4, and then the kink at turn 11 as well as turn 14, which are quite fast as well. Here we are, the drivers taking their chances into the kink. Here we see Mr. Ledoux really trying to get his car readied up for his hot lap. And speaking of the hot laps, we're going to go on board with him. Any other thoughts before we're going to be getting on board Ledoux for his hot lap?
No, not really. It's nobody's real home race here in Wisconsin, I believe so. So it's not much going on in my head at the moment.
Okay, so apologies for the slight audio mishap as we're about to go on board with Marcel Ledoux in the number 61 Nanashi Honda or Acura. Let's see what Marcel Ledoux can do in his first flying lap into turn 1. Takes it in third gear. You don't want to go into the lowest gear possible in the Honda while carrying as much speed as possible. Into non-existent turn 2 into turn 3. Now you have to take a second gear, slightly slower than turn 1. Get a good exit from turn 3 as it's a very long back straight into moraine sweep after turn 4. You need to take a huge beer. You can sip some coffee since some of us are already woken up in the morning. Heavy braking into the 150 meter board into turn 5. And then we're going to go to the uphill crest, which means you'll have to brake just before the billboard here for turn 6. Slow corner, only take it second gear. And then into turn 7, which are also pretty mid-speed. And then into turn 8, this one will be a slow corner. Downshift as much as you can into second gear, only 90 kilometers an hour into turn 8. Then we go to middle speed corner at the carousel. Holding on into fourth gear, try to get a late apex into turn 10. Make sure you have a good run off of that corner. Into the bend and into the kink. Fifth gear to the corner, 220 kilometers an hour. It shows you how fast these drivers are taking the corners. Shows how bold these guys are taking the corners. 2/10 up on the previous best second sector. Then you brake very hard into turn 12, a slow corner, which is Canada corner. Onto Thunder Valley they go. Bill Mitchell Bend, which is turn 13 here. And then you want to find a good braking zone into turn 14, which is the final turn. And that will be a lap here in Road America once you sort out the exit. Marcel Ledoux, number 61 Nanashi Honda, where will he stand? It will be good enough for second, as it says the provisional pole time.
Just from fourth to second, very very good. Very promising start. Ledoux, especially because last race we're just gonna say it's chaotic, but very very good corners. Yeah, I do believe that they should be taken boldly. As there are some fast speed, low speed, etc. Very all-rounder, as I've said before. But yeah, very good to get into the second from yeah.
Okay, so Marion Morris is about to complete his flying lap. It will be a solid third for Marion Morris. He started on pole the previous round in Mosport. He's showing that he has the pace in any track, and in Road America it's no different. As for Bennett McConley, Not far behind, not far behind. He will qualify 4th. Let's see if there will be any other drivers who will be able to challenge Asim. Asim and Wasip on the front row. Keishon may just have the pace. Keishon is on the back bumper, or rather quite a distance from the back bumper of Santi Olivares. Santi Olivares will look to qualify a pretty solid 8th. Keishon will qualify 7th.
Keishon qualified 7th. Yeah, 7 is a very solid placement. I've seen. Yeah, I think I said 7.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind that. But around that range is where you really want to stop during the qualifier. As around, I'd say up to 8th is a very good spot to have in a qualifying round. A very good placement, in my opinion.
And
well, not as good as first, but that's where you want to end up, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Good enough there. As the Silva qualifies in the top 10, and I'd like to expand on what Zeke had talked about. Usually, if you want to qualify for a 19-car field, you want to target at least 10th or 9th, as this will guarantee that you will be placing amongst the top 10, or we like to call it the top half of the field. And looking at the parity between the drivers, only 2 seconds separate between the slowest driver, which is Evan Fuller, unfortunately in 19th, and the fastest driver, Aziz Wasif, who's looking very handsomely. Who has a very good car right now. He's got some good skills here as well. Lap times are currently at a 2:08.930. Not really achieving our lap time targets at the moment, but it will be good enough for him for pole position. Remember, he did crash out early on in race 1 at Mosport for him, as he might be able to improve on his lap time.
Yeah, it seems that this rate, at least this qualifying, is surely a return for the underdogs. They seem to be catching up into the top 10, which is very nice to see. I'm very glad that they managed to get there. Really cool turn of events. But we'll see if they can keep that in the qualifying. They could, lose it. That's happened before in qualifying. Qualifying's are wild most of the time, but yeah, I believe he has a very firm chance of getting into first position when the qualifying ends.
And looking into the times right now, only 0.04 of a second gain on the first sector and lost another 0.4 on the second sector. This would mean that he is currently only 2 thousandths off of his best time. So let's see how much time Wasif will gain here on the final quarter, on the final sector. We're not seeing any improvements from multiple other drivers here. We're now 6 minutes away from the end of this qualifying session. And looking at the Silva now bumped up to 9th. Okay, yes, Wasif has improved. It's now 2:08.909. I don't think, yeah, he has improved by 2/200ths of a second. So great job there from the Malaysian, Aziz Wasif, representing the representing Ayunda Risu in that number 64 Honda.
Beautiful. Hold on, I'm skimming through leaderboards right now. Where'd Ladau go?
Yeah, you can take your time.
Ladau's at an 8th right now. I think, if I'm reading that correctly, I don't know. Text is kind of small for me.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, you don't need to worry about that. I will be reporting on the leaderboards right now. Moaz is currently on provisional pole.
Okay.
Azim is in 2nd, Morris is in 3rd, Tremblay 4th, Aramasi 5th, McConley 6th, Cashew 7th, Ledoux is in 8th place, and we have Garcia in 9th, De Silva in 10th, Keishon in 11th, 15th, Emerson Kurd finished 2nd. Last race is now down to 16th, Pavo 17th, Fuller 18th, and Shalage down in 19th. So if you're looking at the standings in qualifying here compared to the previous race, yeah, I'm going to...
I wouldn't really say that. It seems that the cars I did... Oh, you can continue.
Okay, so we'll get into Zeke's thoughts later on, but Garcia has set her best first sector so far. It's the fastest first sector of the session so far. And as we'll be taking a look into her time into the second sector, only 210 kilometers an hour onto these basically the kink, and this will lose her a significant amount of time. And it's now 6/10 off of the pole time. Remember, her time is only around 8/10 slower than the pole time set by Muazif. Easy now into turns 13 and into turn 14. This is where she needs to brake. She needs to finesse the corner exit, make use of that VR38 EDTT engine. And right now, where will she stand at the moment? And it will be a 209.468. She has now bumped Mercer Lado to 9th as Lado gets back out on track after some slight servicing on the car for pits for tires and fuel. We're seeing more cars being serviced for tires and fuel as well. We're seeing Olivares and Shalage. So, and again, good lap there from Garcia.
I'd argue that for Ladau, it would be fine. It's no problem. He can catch up. In fact, in qualifying, just about anyone can catch up. But yeah, good on Garcia. Managed to bump your lap time up. Always very nice to see decent lap. Man, I'm empty, bro.
Don't worry. We've all been in this situation before. It's all about if you can adapt to certain situations. Anyways, we're looking at the drivers here. We'll have like around 11 drivers setting a lap around a second or lower. Difference between their lap times and Wazit, and looking at Pavo improving to basically put himself 15, bumps down the Rob to 16th. Looking into the other drivers, Emerson Kurt down to 17th place, not looking good there from the Australian. You can see here he's lost a lot of time, and he's now chosen to peel into the pits, as does Vieira de Silva. As we're looking into Jason Fisher, or was that Don the Rob? Anyways, we're looking at the previous finisher from second place in Motorsport, now looking to qualify 17th. We're about to go into the final minutes of qualifying.
Just about your final lap right about now, but there's still time to catch up, guys.
Don't worry.
Yeah, seriously, there's still time to catch up. Come on, get your good laps in, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, speaking of Lado, here is Lado just in time for him to set one more banger of a lap. Remember, he has already pitted for fuel, so let's see where Mercer Lado will be at once he gets into the finish. Once he gets into finishing this lap. Looking at Mercer Lado running across turns 2 and into the approach of turn 3. Oh, looking at the Rob there. Oh, the Rob. There's a bit of an issue before the Dutch driver representing Hakos Bell. There's something wrong with his car. Looking like there's a bit of an issue with the car. Looks like it has tangled with someone. Looking at, but first we need to take a look into Mercer Lado's lap time. Lado. Okay, looking good for him so far, having to dodge the 86 car. Obviously, looking into the differences right now, he is now only 4/10 off. Remember, he needs to be at best 7/10 behind if he wants to improve on his lap time. But he needs to be around 5/10 or 4/10 behind pole time if he wants to have a good chance of leapfrogging the other drivers in, as he is about to approach the carousel.
It seems that other drivers are finishing up their last qualifying lap, as I can see. But Dow should give a pretty good lap time up here coming soon, within the next like maybe 20 seconds, but who knows.
Yeah, looking at Mercer Lado, he has basically lost a decent amount of time as it stands. Looking at his gap between himself and everything else, he's slower than the pole time by 5/10 of a second, slower than in the second sector by 3/10. Looking into Lado, already crossing into the finish line. crossing into the timing B, the timing loop, which is basically just in front of him. Lado, let's see if he can gain some lap time. I don't think he will gain some lap time given the amount of time he has lost. Yeah, 2:10.104, not a good lap for Lado. He will qualify 9th. And speaking of which, yeah, hang on. We're gonna need to transition. We're gonna need to transition over into replay to see what actually happened to Don the Rob, as Don the Rob basically had a bit of an off. And if you want to know what happened to Don the Rob, here is what happened. If you want to take a look into what happened to him, he's basically in front of Jeremy Assam in the number 17 Mayaнаnis Nissan. And as you can see, he basically got pushed by Assam and got spun around. Tried to get himself out of danger, and that's basically Don the Rob out of the qualifying session. Not exactly what you want, especially with what Assam had done, but we need to take a look into the onboard to see what exactly happened to him. If you want to see a better angle of what happened, here's the onboard of Assam as he closes in into the Rob. Let's see what happens here. Tries to brake on the outside. Brakes around the grass. You really don't want to brake around the grass, as you will have less grip and you will have less efficient braking. And that's basically him tagging the Rob and him into the spin. So that's not looking good for basically the Rob, as he's now qualified 16th, and Assam qualifying in basically qualifying in what you call qualifying in 2nd. So it's a bit of an interesting grid here at the moment. And speaking of which, Zeke, before we're gonna start this race, and before we're gonna get onto the starting lineup, I want to hear your thoughts on the qualifying session.
Mercer Ladau did decent for qualifying. I'm really hoping he gets at least in the top 10, if not within the top 5. Really rooting for him right now. And Mazif too. Mazif did not finish Rastown, and he's all the way in first, at least for the qualifying, which is kudos to you. But I'm really hoping both. I'm rooting for both Ladau and Mazif right now. I'm fine with either.
Okay, good on Zeke to share his opinions. So we're going to be taking a look into the starting lineup here in Road America for round 2 of the 2022 Hololive 2022-2023 Hololive GT3 International Series. As we can see, Aziz Mwazif, number 64 Hyundai Risu Honda, starts on pole, with Jeremy Assam having a fast car, and number 17 Ananis Nissan in second. Miriam Morris, decent qualifying session. He started on pole last round, it just wasn't meant to be this round. He will qualify 3rd in the Takanashi Lexus. You can see that car really popping up there. And then we see Maurice Tremblay qualifying 4th in the number 16 Hoshinova Muna Honda. Aaron Mazzi in the number 16 Iris Lexus qualifies 5th. Brendan McCauley in the Gaugura Nissan qualifies 6th. Cashew finished 3rd last round in Motorsport, qualifies 7th this round in North America. And then we had Kate Garcia in 8th in the Zeta Lexus, Zeta Nissan. Also, Mission Cashew is driving the Calliope Lexus as well. Garcia is driving the Zeta GT-R, the Zeta Nissan. Yeah, Barcelona obviously finished outside the points last race. Will now qualify inside the top 10 in the Nashimome Honda. Qualifies 9th. Carolina da Silva, previous race winner, will qualify 10th in the number 96 Oro Kronii Lexus. And then we have Keishan in the number 50 Araneo 15 Lexus, will qualify Nissan in 11th. Santi Olivares in the, watch this, Among Us liveried Watson Amelia Honda for Watson Amelia. Santi Olivares qualifies 12th in the 88 car in 12th. Jason Fisher qualifies 13th in car number 13. Treiji Oli Nissan. Brooklyn qualifies 14th in the Ceres Fauna Lexus. And then we have Raymond Pavo in the Pavolia Rene Honda, qualifies 15th. And then Don Rob, after mishap in qualifying, qualifies 16th in the 86 Hakos Bells Nissan. And then we have Emerson Kerr, finished 2nd last round, will qualify 17th in the Anya Melfisa Lexus. And then we have Evan Fuller in the number 54 Kronii Lexus, Nissan in 18, and then Monika Shilagi rounds out the 19 car field in the Kayla Kowalski Lexus. She qualifies 19th, and with that out of the way, we're gonna be transitioning over into the starting grid. We're gonna be seeing 19 cars line up on the grid, and here we see none other than Aziz Mwazi qualifying on pole, Jeremy Assam in second place. Who will make the most out of this race starting into turn 1 and on the lap 1? We'll see here in Road America as the cars get underway. Aziz Mwazi having a very good launch there, almost running up across the wall. And speaking of which, actually, he does run up across the wall. He runs up across the wall. And that will bunch a lot of drivers up. And look at him. He has basically had a massive shunt there. And this would mean that a lot of drivers will be backing off. And I will have to announce a red flag due to a massive blockage here. We're going to have to restart the session. Sorry about that.
So much for qualifying.
Yeah, not exactly so much for qualifying, but of course with the session being red flag and the session being restarting as soon as possible, meaning it means that everyone should be able to start where they qualify. So as it stands, Mwazi will still start on the front row on pole position. Let's hope that this next start will be as good as it gets. And we need to get a better angle on the start here. Anyways, we're gonna try to race start again. And there he is. Again, take 2. Aziz Mwazi on pole, Jeremy Assam in second. Let's just hope that his racer doesn't involve bunching the other drivers in the starting field. And this time, they have a better launch there. Aziz Mwazi is still running across the wall. Aziz Mwazi is still running across the wall. They're still going to bunch a lot of drivers up. And again, for the second start in a row, I don't think there's going to be a red flag this time by. And with everyone basically stopping, oh, this is not looking good for everyone here, as this is a very, very unlucky situation there. Second race start in a row, and another mishap for Aziz Mwazi. The stewards have decided that it's not possible to red flag this session even more, as a lot of the drivers have now gone single file. This has now become a very messy race start here, as everyone's gonna try to get themselves away from Mwazi, and Mwazi will not be able to come across even turn 1. 2 races in a row for Mwazi, where he's not able to start, basically survive 10% of the race. And so what an interesting turn that was. Anyways, we're looking at Jeremy Assam basically leading this race. Maurice Tremblay in second, Mary Morris in third. And speaking of Maurice Tremblay, he started 4th and is now up to 2nd. And McCauley is now up to 4th. Garcia 5th, the Silva 6th, Olivares 7th, Brookler's 8th, Massey 9th, and Muhammad Cashew out at the top 10. This is very interesting.
Well, that start was, to say the least, chaotic, but the race is still young. It's still lap 1. We could definitely turn around. We could definitely see shifts in leaderboards. We always do, but yeah, that start twice in a row. That's just plain unlucky.
It's not really a twice in a row that has happened on a race start, but on the early stage of the race, yes. For the second race in a row, it looks like, looking at Cashew trying to make a move around Aramazzi on the inside of turn 12 and into turn 13. They're side by side. Aramazzi and Mama Cashew nearly banging doors. As you can see, Cashew nearly going off track, but Cashew has the inside line into turn 14. But let's see if Aramazzi will have the straight line speed, the engine power, and the slipstream needed to pass Muhammad Cashew for him to get back 9th place.
Maybe Cashew seems to be very firmly ahead of Mozzie, but I can definitely. Oh, maybe not.
And you can see here as he's trying to make a move around the inside, but he's just not close enough. He's not side by side. He's not within striking distance. Well, not close enough at least. But at the very least, Aramazzi will have a second shot exiting turn 2. As you see the gap was around 6/10 of a second, but with those long straight heading into turn, I believe, turn 5. Let's see if Mazzy can get close enough. And looking at the gap space, it's now 3/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second. Let's see if he makes a dive bomb down the inside. Not quite, not the dive bomb that he's looking for. Our Mazzy still has to consolidate 10th place.
Mozzie seems to be an absolute bloodhound on Cashew's back right now. Definitely going to probably monitor that, but I honestly see how you know, the straight line speed is absolutely helping out. The question is though, does he have the speed or gaps, etc., to, you know, catch up to Cashew, reclaim his 9th place?
Okay, so we're looking at the gaps here right now. Mazzy is really losing out in the corners here. As we've mentioned, that the Lexus is very good in the corners and the Nissan isn't good in the corners. But Mazzy can try to catch himself back up on the straights if possible. And looking at possible battles here, Raymond Pop was really catching up into Jason Fisher. Jason Fisher is the last driver in the points. Jason Fisher is looking to get 1 point. As apologies over the screen in front. As you can see, the car is the number 64 has struggled to move, and basically we're gonna need to transition just a bit to see if we can remedy this type of info. As Mary Morse has the fastest lap of the race, 2:08. Apologies, we're gonna need to transition just a bit, just a while. Okay, so we're gonna be going into the back onto the screen right now. As you can see, drivers finishing the 2nd lap, and since we finished the 2nd lap, we're gonna be taking a look into the race field monitor. But unfortunately, we had disabled some apps here at the moment, so we cannot be taking a look at the race field monitor. So we're gonna be playing some guesswork on who's gonna be performing the undercut and the overcut strategy. Now, we did mention what the overcut strategy is about, but if you're not here and you're new to the series, so it's basically pit early. Get out while all the other drivers in front of you are slow on worn tires and all that stuff, and then you try to basically and then you try to basically claw back the gap lost in the pits by having fresher tires compared to your rivals, and then when they pit, hopefully you'll be ahead of them. But the caveat to this is that you will have worn out tires later on in the race. But if you want to go for the overcut strategy, you can try to pit later, struggle early on in the race, but later on. But if you pit late in the race and you have an ample amount of time, and with all your other opponents basically struggling on pace due to worn tires and stuff, you'll be able to catch and overtake them. But let's see who's going to come into the undercut and overcut strategies.
For undercut, I believe the Silva in undercut last race managed to turn up on first, but if there were just a couple more laps, Emerson Kurt would have definitely caught up. There was a very steady something going on there, so it definitely has its drawbacks, but it definitely has its advantages as well. Every strategy does.
And looking into the gaps right now, looking at the Silva, she's really catching up on Kate Garcia and Brendan McConley. The Silva now has the slipstream and the exit from turn 14 and into the main straight. For everyone who's in the stream right now, let's hope we can drop in the comments to see who's going to win this race. Jeremy Asif still leads, by the way, and as you can see, the Nissan straight line advantage is very apparent. As you can see, from a 3/10 of a gap to a 9/10 of a gap between herself and Garcia really shows you the advantage of the Nissans on the straights.
Yeah, Nissan, I pronounce it Nissan. Nissan, definitely very powerful on the straights. It's just there's so many corners, and yet there's such a long straight. Like as I said during qualifying, such a like all-rounder race. Like you've got to kind of manage a little bit of everything to kind of, you know, turn up on top.
And yeah, speaking of which, we're going to be taking a look into some of the other battles here that may want to take a look into. Mariam Morris is already catching up into Maurice Tremblay on board number 50, Takanashi Kiara Lexus. Easy into turn 8 and into the carousel, turns 9 and 10. This is where the Lexus definitely has its advantages. See, holding on to 4th gear on that naturally aspirated V8 engine car. And getting that good exit there from the carousel and into the kink very fast there. Around 215 kilometers an hour, very fast there, and it's now really closing in into Maurice Tremblay. Let's see how much he can defend there into turn 12 and heading into turn 13. As you can see here, Moore is really extending the track to its limits. Let's see if they're looking to see if there's any more battles here at the moment here, as we're about to get into 5 laps of this race complete. Jeremy Assam still leads in the number 17 Dinamaya Nanis Nissan.
Looking at potential battles, I'm seeing Kurt 0.24, like 0.3 right now. Very catching up to Shalage at the moment. We'll see how this plays out.
Not yet.
No, just overshot.
Yeah, not exactly an overshot. It just wasn't close enough. So anyways, we'll be taking a look at some of the other battles here right now. Kate Garcia is really trying to hound Brendan McConnelly. Brendan McConnelly has lost a lot of time to third place Marion Morris. Let's see if Kate Garcia can really make an attack into turn 3. All looking good there for Kate Garcia, but the gap is now only 4/10 of a second. The gap between Garcia and the Silva is only 0.8 seconds. Garcia is closing into Brendan McConnelly on this very long back straight here into turn 5. Let's see by looking at Emerson Kurt. Emerson Kurt's now side by side with Shalage. Battle for 17th place, battle for the silver spoon. Let's see who is going to edge ahead of who, as Emerson Kurt has the inside line into turn 3. Turn 3, and looking into the exit here. Kurt has basically aced the exit there, but Shalake is gonna try to keep tabs with Kurt. Let's see, and now they're both of them are side by side. Both of them are side by side into what looks to be turn 5. And looking at Shalage, leaves enough of a room for Kurt. They're still side by side. Amazing racing here, despite racing at the back. It's just going to show that no matter the position, you're going to be racing regardless. Emerson Kurt is still side by side with Shalage into turn 7. And into turn 8, Shalage is not giving up. Neither does Emerson Kurt into the sharp left-hander of turn 8. And that's going to shove Kurt just a bit wide. And it looks like it's Kurt's win this time by.
Shalage, as I saw side by side, could definitely compete up during the stretch. I believe that's because, if I'm not mistaken, I probably am Nissan.
Nah, Shalage is running a Lexus. They're basically running the same cars. Whatever the case is, they are put up an amazing battle here, side by side for around half a lap. Very good showing there between the two drivers. Anyways, K-Sean is trying to make an offensive to Evan Fuller. Tries to catch up with Evan Fuller, but not quite close enough. Morris is trying to catch up to Maurice Tremblay, and then we have Garcia trying to catch up to McCauley once again. If the Garcia wants to make a move, she'll need to ace this exit around here in turn 3. The gap should only be at around 0.3 of a second. Let's see, the gap's winding down from 0.3. It's now under 0.2, around 0.2 of a second. And this is where McCauley is literally being under pressure. A move on the inside, maybe for Garcia. Nearly pushes McCauley off wide. And looking at Cashew, now trying to make a move around the inside. And Bull overtaking move by Cashew, trying to make a move on Brooklers. They're now side by side. Another Lexus versus Lexus battle. Amazing stuff here. Cashew pushes Brooklers off wide. It's a bit cheeky, a bit naughty there from Cashew. You can see there's a bit of damage on the left. So you can see Cashew going off wide as well onto the grass into turn 8. Still side by side. Cashew and Brooklers battling hammer and Tom's head to toe. Neck and neck into the carousel. And it looks to be... oh no! And it looks like Cashew has gone off wide, and he has kind of fluffed the opportunity to make a move onto Brooklyn by going off wide.
He bit off the curb. The curb got
no, he didn't. No, the curb didn't get to him.
Yeah, but
he went off to the grass.
Yeah, but yeah. I called the grass curb for some reason, but It's a force of habit for me, honestly. I gotta try to break
Okay,
that.
don't worry,
With
don't worry.
races.
Remember, we all live and learn. As Marion Morris is trying to make the overtake possible onto Maurice Tremblay, but Maurice Tremblay isn't holding back. He is gonna fight back for that second place. Maurice Tremblay versus Marion Morris is Hoshino Abuna versus Takanashi Kiara into turn 1. Marion Morris made the move into turn 14. They were side by side with Tremblay at the end of turn 14, but it looks like, look at this, Marion Morris with the massive cornering advantage. It will be side by side still with Maurice Tremblay. As you can see, these two cars are still side by side. You can see Tremblay getting into the grass just a bit. Let's see if Morris will try to make a dive bomb down the inside. Tremblay showing an immense amount of defense, manages to hold on to second.
Alright, well, Morris, really on the offensive for Tremblay's second place, which is, well, as you guess, pretty bad for Tremblay, but will the straights Tremblay out? I believe so, but the corner, there's so many corners again, it's hard to really show who's really gonna win. It really depends on where the battles are happening on the thing, but like guess who's gonna come up on top.
Anyways, we'll be taking a look at the battle between Evan Fuller and Jason Fisher there. Jason Fisher thought that he might have the opportunity to have a position or two. Evan Fuller's not having any of it, as Jason Fisher will look to score basically his first points of the season here in Road America. Meanwhile, Raymond Powell's not far behind in 16th. He might be able to spoil the party. Evan Secured, however, is in 17th place, so not looking good for him after finishing second last round. Looking at Marion Morris, looking at the gaps here, everyone has kind of caught up with each other again, as we'll be taking a look into basically Marion Morris on the back bumper of Maurice Tremblay. Let's see if he can make use of the slipstream. But looking at the Honda's pace advantage on the straight compared to the Lexus, the Hondas have some advantage. You can see Maurice Tremblay 2:10.423, Marion Morris 2:11.004. So Tremblay is around 6/10 faster than Morris. So Tremblay currently has the ball at the moment.
Tremblay definitely very firmly holding on to second. I believe he can keep up that speed for at least a little while. For I would guess at least 2 laps, if not longer. But you know, stuff plays out in Hololive GT3, so we'll see.
Okay, so right now we're talking about Mamakashi, who has just set the fastest lap of the race, 2:08.6. So watch out for Mamakashi, as he has a very fast and feisty car, basically representing the Grim Reaper/Dreamer Mori Calliope, also a member of Hololive. As you can see, Cashew really getting into the back bumper of basically Brooklers. Will he make a move around the inside or the outside? The answer is going to be the inside, diving down into turn 5 and now into turn 6. Cashew and Brookler side by side heading into turn 6. Easy now for the both of them, and into turn 7, which will take will have some speed carry into the corners. And yes, and you can see Brookler's backed off just a bit. It's now Cashew up in 8th.
Cashew really holding on to the ball with that one. I do notice that his car is a little bit scratched up. I do not think it's anything severe though, especially because he just beat out Brooklers.
Yeah, right
which
now.
Is nice.
Continue.
But I believe Cashew's gonna hold on to this for at least a little while, because Brooklers needs to catch up only about 1.2 right now. So yeah, Cashew has some time right now.
Definitely has some time, as we're about to cross over into, we've already crossed over into the quarterway point of this race so far. Carolina de Silva trying to catch up into Kate Garcia, which is in front of her, and Garcia is going to try all her might to try to catch up to Brendan McConley. Also, now the drivers are basically caught up with each other. Assam, Tremblay, and Morris having a 2:10 lap times. You can see McConley, Garcia, De Silva, and Olivar having 2:09s. So basically, the top 3 is losing pace, but further back, we got guys who are faster than the guys in the top 3. So we could be seeing a massive battle on our hands later on in this race.
Potentially, it depends on when you hit though, because Honestly, right now for I forget the strategies. I know it's overcut and undercut. I just know I'll probably get them mixed up. But you know, it really depends on the strategy you are taking. And since the guys in the back are going faster than the guys in front, I would recommend definitely holding out for your pit stop until some of the later stages.
And looking at Santi Olivares here, trying to make a move on to the Silva. Santi Olivares basically only having to score a few amount of points. That last round is now within striking distance for more points. As is now side by side, and the Silva basically pushes Olivares off wide, I believe. And it looks like with the Silva's crazy driving, that will allow the Silva to hold up to 6th only temporarily, as she's losing touch to the rest of the field, which is basically the top 5 at the moment. Silva, the previous race winner, is losing touch with the drivers in front of her, and now Olivares is looking to find a way to pounce onto the slower Lexus in front of Olivares.
Among Us car, Olivares could catch up to the Silva. It seems to be a little bit of a slightly larger gap. I mean, it's still a pretty small gap, only about, if I'm reading this correctly, about 0.8, so we can definitely catch up in with some time, as Shazam said, temporarily ahead. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. I guarantee they're going to be scuffling again soon.
And looking into Marion Morris, trying to catch up with Maurice Tremblay. 209.880 for Tremblay, 209.769 for Marion Morris. Marion Morris has to jump. Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look at some of the other battles here. Olivares and the Silva losing a good amount of time to McConley and Garcia. Garcia trying to find a way to get past McConley, heading into turn 3. Now looking at Cashew, another fastest lap from him, 208.312. Cashew is not letting up at all. He's showing to everyone that he means business, and just so you know, Canelio also means business as well, but you know, in certain contests as well. Looking into the battle here between the Zeta car and the Gura car, who will reign supreme. This time he will try to make a move around the inside. Olivares and the Silva, another battle side by side between them as well. The Silva, slightly being pushed off wide by Olivares. Olivares gonna try to make a move around the inside of turn 6. They're still neck and neck, side by side, exiting turn 6. Olivares has the slight jump. Olivares is ahead of the Silva. Olivares is now up to 6.
Like I said, temporarily, and it seems Olivares got the upper hand this time at least. So good for Olivares. But I think Olivares might actually have a firm hand in 6th place, maybe. But you know, the Silva can catch up. It's just I think Olivares might be able to hold 6th pretty well.
And really, looking at Maurice Tremblay and looking at Marion Morris trying to make a move around the inside of Tremblay, and as you see into turn 13, they're still side by side. Both of these drivers are not giving up any inch whatsoever, and as you can see, Tremblay is going to be pushed off to the outside. Morris on the inside of the final turn. That's turn 14. Both of them are neck and neck. Morris is now temporarily up to 2nd, but he'll be able to defend Maurice Tremblay, who will have a slingshot move, and they're now side by side heading into turn 1. Looking at Tremblay right now. Tremblay still in 2nd. Actually, he's now up to 2nd. They're still side by side. Morris is going to try to bring the momentum on the outside. The Kiara car versus the Muna car. Who will edge ahead? Both of them have tried to battle, I believe, force a battle between themselves on who gets Usara Pecora once. Oshinaba Muna and Takanashi Kiara. And as of right now, Marcel Ladell. Marcel Ladell is the first driver who's going to pit. So he will be committing to it, I believe, a 2-stop strategy. So he's going to be committing to an undercut.
That could actually help out a ton, as first place's tires get worn out. So they'll hopefully going to catch up to people in first, and also cut out all the competition out of there. Well, so, not cut out, but you know, pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay, so we're looking at some of the gaps right now between the looking at some of the battles here. This is the closest battle that we have on track at the moment, and right now we're taking a look into Marion Morris, Choice North. Obviously, really trying to get his elbows out onto the racetrack here. Tries to get close to Maurice Tremblay once again. The gap between Tremblay and Assem, which is basically the race leader since the start of the race. Well, we talked about Aziz was starting on pole, but then he suddenly has suspension issues, which may that he crashed into the wall in the race start. So not a good look for him. Meanwhile, we're taking a look into Tremblay right now in second place. Let's see if he's able to catch Jeremy Assem.
Looking at that gap, about a 4-second gap, if I'm not mistaken. But 4 seconds, I've seen 9-second gaps turn into 3-second gaps. In fact, that happened last race, so we will see where that heads over to. I believe Tremblay has plenty of time to catch up. So, yeah, I believe Tremblay can definitely catch up.
Yes, looking at the times right now, I don't have any info at the moment as we do not have the race field monitor at the moment. We're taking a look at the Macaulay and Cashew, the next drivers who will be pitting this lap. And Macaulay has his car service, and since he's already reasonably ahead of Cashew, but yeah, since he's reasonably ahead of Cashew, can't see how Brendan Macaulay is unable to basically exit ahead of Cashew. Meanwhile, as we'll be taking a look at some of the paces here, let's see where Marcel Ledoux ends up, as he's basically out on track once again, but I don't think that we'll be taking a look into his lap times yet. Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into Marion Morris trying to race Maurice Tremblay for second.
Not much going on right now. That is kind of tailgating a little. Might make a no. He's saving on to his energy for later, quote unquote. But we'll see where that ends up. Tremblay really giving a very good defense going on right now. Morris can't really make a move right now, but we'll see where that gets to have to close the gap a little bit more.
And looking into the gaps between the two drivers here right now, it's now closed down to only 0.2 of a second. Will Marion Morris make a dive down the inside? The answer is yes once again. There's another battle between Marion Morris and Maurice Tremblay exiting turn 12 and into turn 13. They're still side by side, and as you can see, Tremblay pushing Morris off wide into the grass just a bit, manages to leave him enough space. They're still side by side once again. It's the same song and dance. Morris having the edge onto the exit of turn 14, but with Maurice Tremblay having the slipstream, Tremblay will now have the pace advantage on the straights to try to make a move on Marion Morris down into turn 1. Side by side into turn 1 as Garcia pits into the pit stall, basically her pit stall, and as you can see, Tremblay putting up a massive defense over Morris, but Morris, let's see, Morris can have a very solid exit, but that's a poor exit there from Marion Morris. Tremblay lives to fight another day in second.
As you said, same song and dance. I'm using Tremblay has been. Well, I don't know. I haven't been counting, but I think that was like the 4th offense Morris tried to make. And you know what? He'll keep on trying until he gets that second place or he gets taken over. And being taken over doesn't seem very likely, as Oliver is currently 4 seconds behind Morris. So Morris just played the waiting game.
And looking at the pace difference between the guys who have yet to pit and the guys with fresh tires who have already pitted, looking at Marcel Ledoux. Marcel Ledoux right now is currently barreling down the main straight. The pace right now is 2:10.418 at the moment. Ledoux not looking good here at the moment. What about Raymond Pavo? Meanwhile, and speaking of the drivers speaking of pit strategy, all the cars have a mandated fuel tank size of around 90 liters. So this will guarantee that they will either make, this will give them options to make either a 2-stop or a 1-stop. And as you can see, Raymond Pavo 2/10 right now, and this would mean that he's not going to be making much inroads. So that's that. We'll be taking a look into Marion Morris trying to catch up with Trombley once again. Let's see, Marion Morris can have a good exit off of the final corner as I'm really closing up on it. Actually, Marion Morris is going to peel into the pit. Let's see if he can pull off the undercut strategy against Maurice Trombley.
Trombley. Very good defense going on, but with that tire difference, it might be slightly harder to defend if Morris cannot get ahead in time. But again, we see maybe Morris will go after someone else or something. I don't know.
And looking at Marion Morris at the moment, Marion Morris is currently pitting at this stage. Looking at Emerson Kurt, car number 12 is temporarily in 12th place at the moment. Let's see if he's able to catch Jason Fisher, which is basically his Hololive Indonesia Gen 2 teammate. And right now, 209.383 for Emerson Kurt. Jason Fisher, 210.726. So Emerson Kurt is making a lot of inroads here at the moment. And Kate Garcia has actually managed to get the jump off of Mohamed Cashew, Ursula Liddell, and Raymond Powell, but still behind Brendan McConley. Marion Morris has exited ahead of everyone who has already pitted. So he is basically the first guy who have already made their pit stops, and the 12 other drivers in front of Morris have yet to make a pit stop.
Morris just got past, so wait for a pit stop, and then Sinag up first place for the most part, which I mean is how you're supposed to play this strategy, but come on, I'm pointing out the obvious. But Morris definitely can catch up. Looking at the gaps right now, where is he? What? And Morris is in 13th. Gap is about 5 seconds. So she can catch up.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're looking into the battles here at the moment. Here we're looking into the pace difference between the guys who have yet to pit with old scrub tires and those who have had sticker fresh tires and who have already pitted. Looking at Brooklyn right now, trying to make a move onto RMS here. The gap is now only 0.2 of a second between the 16 and the 85. 16 on the 16 in the front, 85 at the back. It's Iris leading Sarasvana, quote unquote. And let's see if Brooklers can have a very solid exit there of the final turn. And actually, look at Aaron Mazzi. He has now chosen to pit.
And looking at future battles, looking them out. I saw Kurt doing something. Yeah, Kurt is currently on Fisher's tail right now. It went up to like 0.2, but I guess Fisher did a really good defense, managed to hold him off for temporarily.
And meanwhile, the Silva is going to try to make another offense on Olivares here at the moment. Olivares' pace is slightly falling off and Hurd. And right now, Mazzi is basically still having his car serviced into the pit. Marion Morris with 204.65, 209.253 for Brendan McConley. Kate Garcia will have a lap time of about 211.305. Cashew 210.116. Not looking good for them. I think they will be good for the entire race. I think the one-stop strategy could be the strategy to beat for everyone here. Meanwhile, looking into everyone else here, looking into Aramazzi. Aramazzi has exited back onto the track in 16th in car number 16.
Nothing really going on at the moment. So mostly just a waiting game. See if battles show up. I guess the closest one we have is like an 0.8 late on Cashew for Garcia, but that's about it. That's all I can see.
Oh yes, we forgot to mention about the new fire suits for the Nissan and Lexus. So basically, these are for the Team Nissan drivers, the Team Lexus drivers, and the Team Honda drivers. But Emerson Kurt, if right now you're driving the car and you haven't pitted this lap, so you're basically only provisionally in 10th. And speaking of the suits here, look at the suits here, tailor-made to fit for every car, for every driver, fit for each of the respective cars. So we see the Nissan drivers with the Nissan suits driving the Nissan cars, and the Lexus car, Lexus driver driving a what you call Lexus Toyota car with a Toyota racing suit, and then we have the Honda drivers in the Honda fire suits driving for Honda. Anyways, we'll be taking a look into some of the other battles here right now. Cash is trying to get onto the back bumper of Garcia. Looks like the strategy to be is a one-stop strategy at the moment. I would say with North America being long and technical and all that stuff, they can probably afford to go basically low, go long on the fuel strategy at that point. The Rob is also pitting, K-Sean's also pitting, and Shalak is also pitting as we're about to reach halfway, as we have already reached the halfway point of this race.
Oh, sorry, I was on. One-stop strategy, as Shanson said, probably way to be. It seems the two-stop just isn't the way to go because of the longevity of this race, and just I would say all around. And with races with two-stop, you really want something that like your car can definitely like outperform the others. So stuff like really a lot of corners, a lot of straights, etc., etc.
And we'll be taking a look into the tire age right now. The first drivers who have pitted is Raymond Pavo, who have pitted basically 5 laps ago. So he basically committed to the undercut strategy, and given that he hasn't shown much pace still, he's basically still down in the last car running, which is 18th. And also Mercer Lado, who was also committed to an undercut strategy, but due to having warmer tires, he basically had to jump on the Rock, Sean, and Shalagan. Doesn't have a jump on Mazzy and Kashi though. Meanwhile, we're taking a look into the battle between Shalagan and Pavo. Pavo has managed to actually beat Shalagan off of the strategy right now. This is where the undercut strategy can really shine here for Raymond Pavo, as Jeremy Assam pits from the race lead.
Pavo, sorry, Assam, I'm sorry, I got mixed up. Assam, being in first place, well, you have to pit eventually, but, Assam could catch up, especially because of one-stop strategy, and the people that pitted early have to pit again eventually, so it's, all about the waiting game with the one-stop and, just outperforming.
And right now, we're seeing one driver healing into the pits, that's Evan Fuller. So right now we only have around, how do we put this, 7 drivers who have yet to make their stops as Jeremy Assam exits ahead of Fisher. And right now we're looking at Assam who is currently exiting the pits. He currently has cold tires right now, so that means he has little grip at the moment. So this could be the opportunity for Emerson Kurt to make a pounce on Jason Fisher. As you can see, oh, he has to get onto the grass. He's getting onto the grass. He's being pushed offline. And this will allow Marion Morris to make an offense onto Emerson Kurt. They're now side by side into turn 5. Oh, that costly mistake there from Emerson Kurt may cost him 8th place, but it wouldn't matter regardless. He's going to pit anyway. And right now, the plan should be for him to let go of Marion Morris because Emerson Kurt has yet to pit. But Kurt is still battling like a madman against his own Lexus teammate. And for position, let's see where this will end up.
I wonder if Kurt's gonna bring up his Morris's car right before he pits. That would be funny, I think. But more importantly, however, the battle is going on. I'll say Morris, it seems is being somewhat passive, aggressive. He isn't really getting his attacks done right. He's just trying to wait for Kurt to pit so he can step in from under his feet. So, depends on when Kurt pits and everything.
And looking into what battles here, it gets very feisty here as we'll be seeing the order from 6th on back. Sorry, 5th on back. Assam in basically 5th. Fisher 6th. Kurt 7th. Morris 8th. McCauley 9th. The battle between these positions is going to be very intense, as you can see. Assam manages to get ahead of Fisher and Kurt. And and that basically bunches the two up, and this would also mean that as we can see, Sentinel of ours also just getting out of the car, gets into the racetrack, exits in 9th place. So as it stands right now, 5 drivers have yet to complete their pit stop at the moment, which is Maurice Tremblay, Carolina da Silva, Brooklers, Jason Fisher, and Emerson Kurt. These are the 5 drivers who have yet to pit right now. And right now, Emerson Kurt is holding back Marion Morris, and Marion Morris is currently under pressure from Brendan McConley. Let's see if Marion Morris can try to make a move around the inside of Emerson Kurt. Marion Morris is not looking satisfied at the moment, as he's currently being held back by his own teammate, who is refusing to give position, who has yet to pit. And right now, he's currently sitting down to Brendan McConley behind, which is surprising. His team after Gura, which is a predator, by the way.
It seems Ashton in 4th place already pitted. Very nice for Ashton. He should be able to take 1st place within the coming few laps, as everyone else has to hit. They're really under. I mixed up. Alright, so the pressure tires are probably going to catch up, but hopefully whoever's in like the front can hopefully catch up with the pressure tires. Yeah, it's confusing, never mind.
Okay, so we're looking into the pit stop delta. The pit stop delta is usually 40 seconds in these types of races. So we're looking at the gaps here between Emerson Kurt and the rest of the field. So I would suggest that Emerson Kurt will exit in around between 15th and 16th. So he will exit 16th behind Kay Sean, but ahead of he will exit 15th. And looking at Brooklyn and the Silva, they will be the next drivers to pit. As you can see, these cars are currently being serviced at the moment. Jason Fisher is still out on track. Emerson Kurt is still on track, still trying to make use of that overcut strategy at the moment. Actually, he's holding up very well against Marion Morris. So, and it's actually close to battling Jason Fisher. So there might be something on Emerson's hands. As we'll be seeing here, Brooklers exits in 11th place. Santi Olivares now in the top 10. Very good stuff from him. As for Mercer Ladeau, still down to 13th place, but still good enough for points as it stands.
Alright, Olivares pitted, I believe. Olivares, Watson Amelia, Mona Slippery car. I'm sorry, I have to phone now. Very strong contender for, I believe, the podium, possibly, as everyone else has to pit eventually.
Yeah,
or at least the top 5.
Yeah, top 5. Top 5 should be top 5. Should be top 5 at best. If it would be for podium, it would be for the top guys to basically mess their races up. And looking at Maurice Tremblay really showing his elbows out. He might be able to pit this next lap due to, him staying up in front for a long time, but he's gonna elect to stay out on track for a few more laps. As you can see, Jason Fisher being very slow there, looking at Emerson Kurt. Emerson Kurt is gonna try to make a move around the inside, but right now there's gonna be a massive battle here between the 3 cars. It's a battle for 3rd place at the moment. Jason Fisher 3rd, Emerson Kurt 4th, Marion Morrison 5th. You can see calling in 6th at the moment. As we basically passed through the 2nd and 2/3 portion of the race so far. And then we'll be looking into the onboards of the basically the Marion Morris. We're driving the Takanashi Chiara car. Let's see if we can have a good exit. And it's now Emerson Kurt pitting.
As you said before, I believe it was a 40-second pit, and looking at gaps, Ashton was about 38 seconds behind Tremblay. So if Tremblay could just pit, he should be able to pit and get out of the pits in a really good position, 2nd and 3rd-ish, I believe. Tremblay has to pit eventually anyway. He might as well pit now, I believe.
And Ryan Mercedes is currently barreling down the main straight at the moment. Emerson Kurt is still in the pits right now. Mercedes will be up to 12th place. Gardner will be up to 13th, and it looks like Emerson Kurt will just be able to exit back into the points. looks like, yeah, Evan Fuller has just managed to get out onto turn 14. Emerson Kurt just has his car exited into back out on track, and as you can see, Emerson Kurt is good for just 1 point as it stands. Now only 2 drivers have yet to pit, which is Maurice Tremblay and Jason Fisher. Let's see if their overcut strategy could pay off on these final 10 laps of this race.
Maybe. Depends on tire age, when you get out of the pits, etc., etc. But Fisher has to pit eventually. So does Tremblay. I believe Tremblay has possibly the best chance of getting out of the pits in a super good position, while Fisher is going to have to fish his placement back up.
And speaking of Maurice Tremblay, hang on, he is currently pitting from the race lead. Now it is time to surrender his race lead. And let's see if he can be able to battle Assam for the win. Assam basically pitted the last few, basically the last 3 laps. So Tremblay will have the slightly fresher tires. And the Silva having the super fresh tires at the moment. But and look at the gap between some of these drivers right now. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, there are definitely a couple battles coming up. Last 10 races. Oh, someone was pitted.
Yeah.
I don't. It was Fisher. Fisher just pitted apparently. Well, he had to pit eventually with Tremblay still in second, even in the pits.
And right now, as it stands right now, Morris is still in 3rd place, but he believes a second could have been possible had it not been for Emerson Kurt basically blocking it in his way. And looking at Jason Fisher is now pitted. Is now currently dropping down the order at the moment. Tremblay is now down to 4th place, but will have the freshest tires possible. Marion Morris and Brendan McConley having worn out tires as it stands. We're looking at the tire age right now. McConley has the worst tires possible. Morris has the 2nd worst tires at the moment. 2nd best tires goes to Jeremy Asset, and Maurice Tremblay have the best tires into the final 10 laps of this race. Let's see where the pace holds up onto the final turns of this race.
Final terms, it's definitely going to be a lot more defense oriented for those with more worn out tires. Oh, what's going on over here? Nothing at the moment. We'll watch that real closely, but yeah, very defense oriented the last few things as the newer tires start to catch up.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go on board with some of the lore here. As you can see here in the Watson Amelia Honda / Acura, you can see there is an Among Us branded Among Us logo on the side of each the Amelia car. As you may want to know, why is that the case? Now, Amelia made a quote-unquote important announcement. It's in the same tone as some of the members in Holla who have made graduation announcement, like Kiryu Koko and Tsukumo Sana. Let's hope that they are still doing well to this day. So everyone thought that Watson Amelia will be next in line to graduate. But basically, Amelia psyched everyone, tricked everyone, and basically bamboozling them by actually saying that and making the announcement go, hey, this is basically me collabing in Among Us, and I made Among Us cookies. So everyone was like tricked, and that is the reason there is the Among Us brand on the Watson Amelia Honda.
I do. But looking at gaps right now, everyone still bundled together, but not much battling is going on. Defense, as I said, very defense oriented right now. We'll see. Nothing. Alright.
Anyways, we'll be taking a look at the onboard of the number 4 Kronii Lexus, basically holding on very decently in 8th place. The Silva will look to basically hold on into the championship lead as it stands, with Cashew down in 8th and Emerson Kurt down in 15th. Right now, the Silva will have a very good shot in basically hanging on into and extending his championship lead as well. And Zeke, if you have a bit of a chore going on, you can say so. I can basically take over as much as I can.
Oh no, I don't. That's it's my siblings. I don't like my siblings personally, but I have to deal with them every day. Yeah, they're kind of loud. I make sure to tell them when I'm trying, doing this stuff, but they have to ask mom for stuff, etc., etc. I have to deal with them.
Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into the battle here down the inside, down into the show. Oh, you can see Brendan McCauley slamming into the outside wall. A massive shot for Brendan McCauley. Marion Barnes makes a bold move down the inside. McCauley suddenly just lost grip, and that's basically him into the wall.
Oh my god, what are the damages on that car? It looks really busted up.
It looks really busted right now. It looks like he will be losing a massive amount of performance since he's going to continue. And since this is simulated and not quote-unquote in real life, I don't think he will be suffering major concussions, at least in this one so far. But if it was in real life, he would have stopped on track and it would have been a caution. It would be a safety car and all that. But of course, this is Assetto Corsa, so this won't be the case. Anyways, but looking at Maurice Tromba trying to make a move around the inside. Will he make a dive? Not yet. Let's see what will happen in the next few corners.
Maurice Tromba definitely bumping up McCollum's now wrecked Gardner car. Definitely, I think it might actually be slowing him down a little bit. Potentially what Emerson Kurt kind of did to Morris, where the car kind of slowed him down and kind of really just held him up to get into the high positions. We'll see what that gets to. It's really a Tromba can get to McCollum.
And trying to make a move around the inside, but not close enough. You can see how mangled that GT-R is at the moment. And you can see Lado and Powell pitting for the second time. They have miscalculated their fuel strategies. We've seen this in the Japan Series multiple times where they try to pit very early, but then they really pitted way too early and have filled in not enough fuel. So Lado and Powell will have to pit once again. So tough luck for Marcel Lado and Raymond Pavel, who will be continuing their non-points paying streak. So, this is not looking good for the two drivers at the moment. So, yeah. Anyways, we'll be looking into the battles here. Trombley now trying to make a move around the inside. Smoke Conley. Another mistake again! Oh, you can see there!
Oh yeah! Again.
And this time it's terminal. And this time it's terminal. And you can see lots of smoke coming out of that GT-R. And that actually blocks multiple other cars as well. Kate Garcia, Muhammad Cashew, Brooklers as well. This has gone very interesting. This has gone very massive as well. As you can see, McCollum has teleported back, and they have now gone back into service here at the moment. Another crash there by Brandon McConley, and this time the damage is terminal from the American. And right now we'll be taking a look into some of the other battles here right now. Mama Kashi gone off wide just a bit, and now it's now gonna go side by side. Look at Garcia going side by side between the two. Looking at them right now. Oh, side by side onto the final turn. They are exiting the final turn at the moment here. Cashew looking, they're gaining a few positions as well as Brooklers, and you can see also Jason Fisher. Sorry, no, it's Don the Rob. Don the Rob is now up into the top 10, now on 9. Let's see if he can make a double pass between the two Lexus cars as he trying to make a move into Muhammad Cashew. The Chaotic Rat versus the Grim Reaper. Who will win into turn 3? And looking into the Rob. The Rob taking it easy into turn 3, but because he knows he's got a fast car on the straight. McConley is now back out on track. Unfortunately, that's his chance of a race win now over. But meanwhile, looking at Don the Rob right now. Don the Rob trying to make an offensive into Muhammad Cashew into turn 5. Will he make a move? Yes, he will. Side by side, but it looks like Cashew will have the better exit. They're still side by side.
Well, as you saw there, McConley just double crashed his car, caused a huge power vacuum that everyone's trying to fill out. For now, the middle places are going to be a lot more chaotic for the last like 7. I'm just calculating, but as I was saying, yeah, it's going to be a lot more chaotic here now forward in the middle places. We'll see if that settles down, but I severely doubt it.
Meanwhile, Don Rob and Brooklers battling side by side. They will now be neck and neck heading into basically the kink. The kink has been a dangerous place for crashes at the moment. And right now we're looking at Brooklers having a very good exit there from the kink. Will he make a dive bomb down to turn 12? The answer will be a resounding yes! Nearly actually pushes the Rob off wide. They're now side by side once again. This is a battle for the top 10. Battle between the two Holo Council members. And as you can see, McCauley heading back on track, but he's now down a lap. And as you can see, the Rob now losing out to Brookler. Sarah's Fauna edges ahead of Huckle's Bales right now. But right now we're looking at the Rob trying to have an edge once again. Looking into the battles here. There he has a straight line speed on the Rob. But Brookler has the edge on the straight. And we'll see another one. Brendan McConley still out there. And now he stopped once again. We need to see what happened to him again. You see Brendan McConley. Yeah. Damage suspension. I think there's definitely something wrong with the car. And he's blocking Aaron-Massey as well. This is another chaotic race here at the moment. McCauley, oh, this is now he's gonna block the road. He's gonna block the race. He's gonna block multiple drivers. And now Cash is now overtaking Garcia. And now Garcia is managing to get past. And then we're looking at Brookles now having a breather with the Rob, and then Sean manages to get past Jason Fisher as well. Emerson Kurt. What is this race?
Alright, well, I guess another power, I think an even bigger power vacuum now. It's just been formed yet again by McConley. Good on you. Oh my god. I don't think you're going anywhere. I'm sorry.
I don't know if I can go anywhere either right now, as Jeremy Asum still leads this race comfortably. He has controlled this race very finely. And looking at the shenanigans of Brendan McCauley, who is stubbornly trying his best to continue, even with a damaged car, he will be a quote-unquote, a literal mobile chicane. We didn't expect this to happen, but this might be the case, as Lado will try a way to get past him. So yeah, that's him getting past Brendan McCauley. McCauley's still trying to limp his car back stubbornly. I don't know why, but let's see how much chaos it's gonna cause.
It really depends. To me, it really just feels like blocking other cars, you know. I feel like this is gonna be one of those races where he's really gonna like hurt the people that are like really in front, because he's gonna be like so far behind. He's like blocking everyone up in the front, and that's gonna cause a lot of people to catch up.
I know.
Really
yeah, I know, but the problem is that he's not far. Probably not that he's so far behind. He's slow on the track. He's literally a mobile chicane. Watch as this will basically block Jeremy Asum, and this will give Marion Morris a chance to catch him back up. And now Jeremy Asum has basically lost that 6-second gap, and it's now a 2-second gap. Look at Marion Morris now closing the gap back up to 2 seconds. Now you see how much Brendan McCauley is an influence of this race.
Accidentally became the biggest factor in this race by crashing. Like, I think this is the third time. Is it the third time?
First time ever that has happened in this series.
New record set. Good job, Conley.
Anyways, meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into the gaps here. Right now, Morris is definitely caught up with Jeremy Asum, as multiple drivers are going to try to get over Brendan McCauley. You can see Brendan McCauley's steering is just so bent. It's just uncontrollable at this point. And you can see more drivers are going to come to the back of him. And as you can see, that is the Zeta Nissan and multiple other drivers too. And this will mean that Don Durant managed to get past him. I managed to get past Brooklers as well, and Brooklers is currently being blocked. They're blocking drivers at the carousel. They're blocking Jason Fisher at the carousel. Brendan McCauley is struggling, trying to get himself across the track. This is insane stuff here at the moment. And you can see MFL trying to get past as well. Cassius now trying to make a pass onto Aaron Massey.
Massey was so comfy until McConnell blocked everything. And now Mozzie, if that didn't happen, would have happily sat very comfortably at about 7th. But because of McConnell, now has a little bit of competition to keep that place.
Meanwhile, we're taking a look here right now, but Adak-RMS now side by side and now ahead of Muhammad Kashir right now. Now the big question is, how much will Brendan McConnell affect the look at this parade blocking Mercer Lado? And of course, we're looking at Jeremy Assam right now, who is currently in turn 7 right now, and right now Jeremy Assam holding on to his wits at the moment. But currently he's going to lose a lot of time there because of Brendan McConnell, and Brendan McConnell is still out there currently blocking Raymond Pavo. We're going to be taking a look into the gaps between Assam and McConnell right now, if these are going to, if McConnell's going to influence this battle for the race lead any further.
Definitely, probably. There's about 4 laps left. Austin just needs to hold out for 4 laps, but that's going to be pretty hard. Oh, what's going on here?
Oh, and it looks like they're blocking both drivers here at the moment. And as you can see, Morris Trump is now into the equation once again. And this will mean that Jeremy Assam has now built up the gap. The gap was around only under a second. It's now 2.6 seconds. Now with Marion Morris having and now with Marion Morris, is basically everyone is ruling what B-Man is happening. I can't even comprehend this anymore. Whatever the case is, the Silva has now passed Santi Olivares for 4th place due to Brendan McConnell. Brendan McConnell needs to get back in the pits ASAP.
McConnell, not biased, it seems, blocking both cars. But yeah, Aston's getting some faster lap times than Morris seems at the moment by about a second. If he could keep that up, that would be nice. But I'm guessing that's because McConnell's oopsie doopsie.
So yeah, for him indeed. Continue.
Yeah. Yeah, crashing 30 times probably does that to a car, believe it or not. But more importantly, however, Assam is still ahead, and we'll see if we can stay ahead for much longer as we get into the final gray laps.
Oh yes, on the final stages of this race, Brendan McConnell is once again trying to get his car into a straight line, and this basically jeopardizes every other driver in the field right now. As you can see, multiple drivers getting into the back of Brendan McConnell. But McConnell is still trying to. You can see how bent that suspension is at the moment. It's really bent. Let's see, Brendan McConnell gets himself back into the pits right now. It's a slow crawl for the number 99 Gaugura Nissan. But it looks like, will he manage to get back into the pits? No, he's still going. He's still going. This is going to be insane. Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into Jeremy Assam. And right now, Jeremy Assam still holding on to his race lead here. The gap between himself and Marion Morris now dropped down to 1.4 seconds here. McConnell is in the front stretch right now, holding up Mercer Lado, and it will hold up Raymond Pavo after this, and then Jeremy Assam and Marion Morris, and maybe if they manage to hold up the two, this will mean that Maurice Tremblay and Carolina De Silva will be in the mix once again.
I have no idea what happened to Tremblay. I was like half paying attention because I was too focused on McConnell not going in the pits for some reason. But I have no idea what's going on anymore. I was able to somewhat wrap my head around what's going on. No, not anymore.
And we will be taking a look into Marion Morris making a move. Marion Morris out of the fastest lap of the race, 2:08.129. Brendan McConnell is just 1 corner ahead, still limping into turn 2, and there are the leaders. Jeremy Assam and Marion Morris are gonna be held back once again, and you can see Marion Morris trying to make a move from the inside. But Jeremy Assam thought otherwise and now makes the move once again. And now we're looking at Maurice Tremblay now also being held up, but manages to steer clear of McConnell once again. Now Marion Morris will try to have a chance to move around the inside of basically Jeremy Assam at the moment. Will there be a move? Not quite. As you can see, Jeremy Assam having a fast lap of the race, 2:08.1. As you can see, Maurice Tremblay Now not far behind, only 5 seconds separating between third and second.
Well, I'd say you'd have to play McConley to your advantage in order to get ahead. If you can get them to if you can get them blocked by Conley and then kind of just steer away, you can definitely snag first place. First place at this race is just a dice roll. Now to see who gets blocked and who doesn't.
And right now we'll be taking a look into Marion Morris really not gonna be trying to make a move around the inside. Will Jeremy Assem make the same mistake as Brendan McConley? The answer is unfortunately yes! Jeremy Assem hits the inside wall. I mean the outside wall after leading this race. After being the dominant driver, you can see he's also blocking Maurice Tremblay as well. Jason Fisher has been overtaken by Emerson Kerr. And as if you thought Brendan McConley was the had made that mistake, and it's now Jeremy Assem as well. As you can see, this will also affect the Silva and Olivares as well. And now Olivares will have the pace advantage. Will Olivares win against the Time Warden? Will the Time Traveler beat the Time Warden? Not yet at the moment. They will be side by side. Anyway, Jeremy Assem, after leading this race for a long time, had the race under control, but then got spooked by Marion Morris. Just, just insane. What chaos. How many more chaos will this race bring?
Remember when you said Olivares could get into the podium if the people in front really messed up? I'm starting to see that vision going on right now.
That's the point. You don't give up until the end because you just don't know what will happen. You just don't know what happens. It's Emerson Kerr has pointed out that there are 2 tractors on the track right now. Jeremy Assem is out, but apparently the damage isn't that terminal. But right now he is pretty sluggish here at the moment, but he is still keeping a minimum race pace, so he's not that much of a tractor right now. And right now Marion Morris is currently being blocked, but this will not be much of a case as currently the gap is now 15 seconds between him and Maurice Tremblay. We are now into the penultimate lap of this race. Marion Morris leads from Maurice Tremblay, the Silva in 3rd, Olivares 4th, Mazzy 5th, Cashew 6th, the Robin 7th, Brooklers 8th, K Garcia 9th, Kayshawn 10th, Crimson Kurt now up to 11th. Jason Fisher 12, Evan Fuller 13, Shalage 14. Lado will most likely finish inside the points after all. Raymond Powell just as might if there are going to be other mishaps here. As you can see, Mama Cash is really catching up to Aaron Mazzy as Olivares have managed to get himself over the Silva, and actually the Silva got caught up by Brendan McConley, and now Olivares is now up to 3rd.
Man, it seems like the freaking Among Us podium finish going on right now as we go into the final 2 laps. Oh my goodness gracious.
And right now we're on to, let's continue. Okay, let's look into this scenario right now. We're under this final lap of this race. Marion Morris, number 50, Takanashi Kronii Lexus had to over control a lot. Started 3rd in this race. Had to survive through literal chaos on this race right now. And as it stands right now, 16 seconds is the gap between Marion Morris and Maurice Tremblay. And then Santi Olivares finally on 3rd place. And Kayshawn, look at the car park! Look at the car park that Brendan McConley is causing! And Jeremy Assem as well! What is this mess right now? What is this mess that we're seeing? And right now, oh my god, oh no, this is not gonna make us sick. Anyways, we're looking into the battles right now. Olivares 3rd, the Silva 4th, Matthew 5th, Cashew 6th, the Rob 7th, Lurzen 8th, Sean at 9th, Emerson Kurt 10th, Garcia 11th, Fisher 12th, Shalage 13th, Fuller 14th, Lado, will he manage to get past Brendan McConley on time? The answer will be a resounding yes. In 15th, Raymond Powell, will he have a chance to get himself back inside the point? We'll have to wait and see. What Marion Morris. And just answer one guy in the comments. Yes, there is Among Us on the Watson Amelia Honda. And right now, what is this race? What is this race? Anyways, Marion Morris has to endure a lot of adversity. Had to quote-unquote die in this race and then reborn in the lead, just like Takanashi Kiara. It's not around 500 years. It's one to when it wills it. And right now, Marion Morris is gonna bring that Phoenix-based car. He's gonna make KFP proud. He only has 2 corners and Brendan McConnelly to navigate, and he's currently being held back a considerable amount, but I don't think this will phase him that much. Marion Morris now has 1 more corner to tangle, and that will be turn 14. Marion Morris, after
First place.
what a wacky race, started 3rd, is gonna make KFP proud, give Takanashi Kiara the first win in Hololive GT3 International Series. Marion Morris wins in Road America, and Maurice Tremblay, representing Muna Hoshinova, will barrel across, around the main straight to grab off 2nd place right now. Good stuff there from the driver representing the Hololive Indonesia member, and Sandy Olivares. What can I say about him? He started 12th, now is up to 3rd place. Amazing stuff. And the Silva, a very good drive from her. Started 10th, now up to 4th. She will extend her championship lead over Emerson Kurt for sure. And for everyone else, I can't say much, but whatever the case is, it has been a very wacky race.
I find it ironic that Mozzie has not changed positions at all. What is the problem right now?
The Rock is currently in 7th place and is currently being blocked. And just about, this could be the finish. This could decide the finisher right now. The Rob 7, Brookler's 8, K-Shawn 9, and Emerson Kurt finishes in the top 10. Oh, and slapped! Oh, the crash in the finish! Oh no! A crash in the finish. Just about between Emerson Kurt, Kate Garcia, and Jason Fisher. Look at that pile up, and look at that. Look at Emerson Kurt.
Oh no! I think we got the case of Hacko's Bales on this race. That's for sure. Hacko's Bales are free. Ironic, seeing as Durant managed to get into 7th instead of 1st, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Man, this is one hell of a race to commentate.
Oh my God! What was that finish between the 5 who finished 10th, 11th, and 12th? They basically collided with each other in the finish. You know, Raymond Powell finishes 16th. Oh, just gets collected by Emerson Kurt. What is this? Oh my God! Meanwhile, Jeremy Assam will try to finish this race. So again, Marion Morris is basically there with this win. And currently Jeremy Assam. And I think that's it. That's it. We're gonna need to stop. We're gonna need to stop this race. We're gonna need to stop this race. We're gonna need to make sure everything and everyone has this race settled. And right now with Jeremy Assam crossing across the line, we will have this race result underway as it stands right now. Okay. Marion Morris wins in the number 50 Takanashi Lexus. Maurice Tremblay in the number 69 finishes 2nd. Santi Olivares started 12th, now he's up to 3rd. And then with the Silva in 4th, Eric Maxey 5th, Cashew 6th, Darab 7th, Brookler's 8, K-Shawn 9, and Emerson Kurt in 10th. And then we have Kay Garcia 11, and then we had Jason Fisher 12th. Monica Shalake 13th, Evan Fuller 14th, Liddell 15th, Pavo 16th, Jeremy Assam 17th. After a crash at the kink, as well as Brendan McCauley in 18th. Mazin couldn't even make it into turn 1. Okay. We need to get into a few replays first before we need to sort out the basically championship standings. So, but first we need to take a look into Aziz Wasif. We're specifically going to be taking a look into the onboards of the number 69 Hoshinova Muna Honda. So we're going to be taking a look into the onboards. Aziz Wasif. Oh, you can see here. Oh yeah, the suspension really didn't work out for him. As you can see here, he tries to turn left, but the car just kept turning right. Doesn't matter. That's a suspension failure for Aziz Wasif, literally at the race start, and then blocks other drivers. Just pandemonium all around. And then that is not the only incident that we want to talk about. So we want to talk about this as well.
Seriously.
So here is Brendan McConley on his battle with basically the drivers at the back, which is sorry, no, it's not this lap, it's this lap. So here's Brendan McConley on board with him, and you can see Marion Morris on his rear bumper. As you see, Morris having a very good exit off of the carousel. It was enough for him to get side by side. You can see Brendan McConley getting loose on the exit of the carousel. Then gets pushed off wide, understeers, trying to carry as much speed as possible. Then tries to hold on to the car once again with a damaged car. That's the first hit. And then here's the second hit. This time he has to defend from an oncoming Maurice Tremblay. Same thing with Tremblay with a better exit at the carousel. As you can see, getting into the carousel. Maurice Tremblay. You can see McCauley. Oh, a massive slam. And that's his engine giving up. You can see with massive plumes of smoke on that number 99. But first we need to take a look at the first initial impact between himself and Marion Morris. We're going to fast forward just a bit to see what happens here. So we need to take a look into this. That was the first impact. And now we're going to be taking a look.
He had enough room.
And not exactly enough room. He just understeered. I believe he had just simply understeered. And then we need to take a look into the second crash for McConley. Second straight after, and then on the very next lap. And as you can see, Brendan McConley. Oh, and that is where the engine conked out. Literally spraying plumes of smoke to other drivers, basically making a smoke screen. And then he basically turns himself into a how do you put this? A literal
obstacle,
mobile chicane, if you want to call him that. And here is Jeremy Assam, with who was the race leader, and then got slammed to the wall and basically had his engine destroyed. In the same way that Brendan McConley did. This is after battling with Marion Morris. Jeremy Assam had the most dominant car until this happened. And you want to go on board with the number 17 Nissan? We're going to need to watch this on board. Watch this. This is going to get interesting. Jeremy Assam, remember, he had the most dominant car until this happened. That's just his engine gone. He tried to get an engine operating, but then at this point, it just wasn't meant to be. Jeremy Assam out of the race. There's basically 3 DNFs in this race that will cap off the one of basically. Actually, I cannot sugarcoat this anymore. This is the most chaotic race in Hololive GT3 history by far.
Damn.
And right now we're gonna be basically taking a look into the championship standings here after a very eventful race. So we're gonna be taking a look into basically the gaps here at the moment. Provisionally we'll be taking a look into here, and right now the results should be that, oh dear, why are we looking at OBS? So we're gonna be taking a look into the let's see if we have the, actually hang on, we're gonna need to okay, so we're back into Content Manager. So here we see Carolina de Silva basically extending her championship lead in the standings. Now she has 330 points. Marion Morris now up to second. Cassius down to third. Emerson Kurt down to fourth. Tremblay now up to fifth with that second place finish, I believe. Yeah. And then Aramazzi up to sixth with that fifth place finish. Kayshawn in seventh. And then we see Santos Olivares back up in eighth. Brendan McCauley dropped down to ninth. Ahmed Sameh 8, 9, and then Brooklers in 10th. Monica Shalage in 11th. Don Durop 12th. Kate Garcia 13th. Jeremy Assam 14th. Evan Fuller 15th. And then looking at the final, and then we're looking at actually, Jason Fisher also managed to score a point. Actually, good job from him. Mercer Lado also scores a point. Finally, he's in 17th, and then we have Raymond Pavo as Monte, who is still yet to score a point. And that's basically the championship standings and round 2 sorted out. So, Z, before we want to close the stream, I want to hear your thoughts about that race.
Chaotic to say the least.
Yeah,
As I said, Hackos Bales approved. But more importantly, however, that was probably one of the funnest races. In the total of 3 races, maybe I've commentated. That has got to be the funnest one I've done.
It's nice to hear
It's also the
your
most
thoughts about this one.
eventful.
Yeah, the most eventful, most chaotic. Of course, we also want to talk about how big will definitely approve of this race. The race has definitely turned its head by basically the chaos herself. So, anyways, that is basically the round and the stream sort of. We hope you enjoyed the stream as much as we do, and let's not phase ourselves in chaos way too much. But whatever the case is, all the drivers are gonna be prepared and ready for the third round in basically in the Red Bull Ring, which will be on October 22nd, basically a week after the first round of the Hololive GT3 Japan Series postseason. And whatever the case is, we hope we will be able to tune into the next races onwards. Well, we can't guarantee we will have this same amount of chaos, but whatever the case is, the races will be entertained regardless. And like we said, we hope everyone have enjoyed the stream whatsoever. And with that out of the way, we would like to close out the stream with this. I'm Mohammed Shahid Reza. Alongside we is Emerson Kurt. Zeke Wimberly in the commentary booth. And you've been watching a very messy and chaotic 2022/2023 Hololive GT3 International Series.